Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Munzir bin Muhammad Nasir and my number matric is 1213024 and with my team.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SHEIKH AKRAM, SHEIKH ZAINAL ABIDIN. Number matric 1213042.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muslim Haris bin ABDILLAH. Number matric 1212983.
My name is Muhammad WAFI UQASYA bin Muhammad RUSDI. My matric number is 1213041.
And now we will present about the comprehensive analysis of the financial ratios of Padini Holdings Sdn Berhad and also Kamdar Group Berhad. Okay, what we have to know about the Kamdar Group Berhad. Basically, Kamdar Group Berhad is a supplier and retailer of home textiles and fashion apparel fabrics and garments with 27 retail outlets as well as numerous wholesale and consignment customers. And you know, Kamdar is a public listed company on Bursa Malaysia, which is the Malaysian Stock Exchange Company since 2005. And Kamdar has supplied products to multiple sectors such as government, education, events, healthcare, and also hospitality. And you know, Kamdar is a public listed company on Bursa Malaysia, which is the Malaysian Stock Exchange Company since 2005. And Kamdar has supplied products to multiple sectors such as government, education, events, healthcare, and also hospitality. Okay, now we're gonna look to the Padini Holdings Berhad. Okay, what we have to know about the Padini Holdings Berhad. Padini is a Malaysian retail company that specializes in the fashion industry, and it was founded in 1971 and is headquartered in Shah Alam, Selangor, Malaysia. And over the years, Padini has gained a strong reputation for its fashion design, competitive pricing, and emphasis on customer satisfaction. And also, Padini Holdings Berhad is listed on Bursa Malaysia, which is the Malaysian Stock Exchange, and continues to grow its business through strategic expansion, product diversification, and brand product management.
Okay, for liquidity ratio, we have current ratio and quick ratios. Padini's current ratio is 3.62, while Kamdar's current ratio is 5.002. So we can see that Kamdar has a strong ability to cover its short-term obligation with its short-term assets compared to Padini. Padini's quick ratio is 3.13, while Kamdar's quick ratio 1.18. So we see that Padini has a stronger ability to meet its immediate short-term obligation using its liquid asset than Kamdar. Okay, next we move to efficiency ratios. In efficiency ratios, we have inventory turnover ratios, average collection period, non-current asset turnover, and total assets turnover. So first, we look at inventory turnover ratios. Padini inventory turnover ratios is 5.91, while Kamdar 0.45 times. Okay, so this means Padini is able to sell and replace its inventory almost 6 times during the given period, indicating a higher efficiency in managing its inventory turnover. On the other hand, Kamdar's lower inventory turnover ratio suggests a slower rate of inventory movement and potentially a higher inventory holding period. Okay, that's for inventory turnover ratios. For average collection period, we can see that Padini concept store is 10.68 days, while Kamdar average collection period is 6.47 days. Okay, so this means Kamdar collects its account receivable in a shorter time period on average, indicating a faster and more efficient collection process. On the other hand, Padini takes a longer time to collect its account receivable, suggesting a relatively slower collection process. Okay.
I will take this part. For non-current asset turnover, Padini has more turnover than Kamda, which is 2.69 over 0.34. This indicates that Padini has more revenue for its non-current asset relative to their book value, suggesting a higher efficiency in utilizing this asset. For total asset turnover, we can see Padini also have more turnover than Kamda, which is 0.88 and 0.1. Padini has higher ratio than Kamda and indicates that Padini have generated more sales revenue and more efficient utilization in current asset.
Okay, for leverage ratio, we have debt ratios, debt to equity ratios, and time interest earned. Debt ratio for Padini concept store is 40.36%, while Kamda's debt ratio is 22%. Padini generates a higher gross profit relative to its revenue compared to Kamda. Okay, for debt to equity ratios, Padini is 67.67%, while Kamda's debt to equity ratio is 27.1%. Padini generates a higher operating profits relative to its revenue compared to Kamda. Okay, next, in profitability ratios, we have gross profit margin, operating profit margin, net profit margin, return on assets, and lastly return on equity. So first, we will look at gross profit margin. Padini's concept store gross profit margin is 38.47%, while Kamda's gross profit margin is 7.9%. Padini generates a higher gross profit relative to its revenue compared to Kamda. For operating profit margin, Padini is 17.02%, while Kamda's operating profit margin 12%. Padini generates a higher operating profit relative to its revenue compared to Kamda. Okay, so for net profit margin, Padini is 6.69%, while Kamda 8%. Kamda generates a higher net profit relative to its revenue compared to Padini. Padini generates a higher level of profitability per unit of its total assets compared to Kamda. For return on asset, Padini is 4.91%, while Kamda 1.8%. Padini generates a higher level of profitability per unit of its total assets compared to Kamda. Return on equity, Padini is 80.21%, while Kamda 2%. So this means Padini generates a higher level of profitability resolved to its shareholders' equity compared to Kamda. Okay, next, we will focus on market ratios. So in this ratio, we have earning per share, dividend per share, dividend payout ratios, price earning ratios, and dividend yield. So first, we will look at earning per share. Padini earning per share is RM0.234, while Kamda earning per share is RM0.028. So this means Padini generates higher earning per shares for its shareholder compared to Kamda. On the other hand, a lower earning per share such as Kamda's 0.0275 suggests relatively lower profitability per share. This could be due to lower net income generated by the company or a larger number of outstanding shares. So for dividend per share, Padini is RM0.1, while Kamda is RM0. Padini has a positive dividend per share 0.1, indicating that the company distributes dividend to its shareholder. On the other hand, Kamda has a dividend per share of 0, indicating that the company does not currently distribute dividend to its shareholder. Price earning ratio, Padini is 24.2 times, while Kamda 202 and 18 times. Comparing the two price earning ratio provided above, we can see that Padini has a lower price earning ratio, while Kamda has a higher price earning. One possible reason for Kamda having a higher price earning ratio could be that its earning per share are relatively low compared to Padini. When a company has a lower earning per share, it means that each share represent a smaller portion of earning. So for dividend per share, Padini is 0.427, while Kamda is 0. Padini has a dividend payout ratio of 0.427, indicating that the company distribute 42.7% of its earning as dividend to shareholders. On the other hand, Kamda has dividend payout ratio of 0, suggesting that the company does not currently distribute any portion of its earning as dividend. Okay, lastly we will look at dividend yield. Padini dividend yield is 2.6%, while Kamda dividend yield is 0%. So this means every share of Padini stock, investors receive an annual dividend equivalent to 2.6% of the stock's current market price. On the other hand, Kamda has a dividend yield of 0%. This suggests that Kamda is not currently distributing any dividends to its shareholder, or that its dividend payment are negligible relative to its stock price.
Now I will talk about a SWOT analysis for both company, which is Padini Holding Berhad and Kamda Group Sdn Berhad. We start with strengths for Padini. Padini has strong brand portfolio. Padini owns a diverse range of popular fashion brands, providing a competition advantage in the market. Next, Padini has a vertical integration. The company vertically integrated business model ensure quality control, cost efficiency and faster response to market demand. Padini also has extensive retail network. Padini has a wide network of retail outlet, ensuring widespread access to its product. And lastly, market presence. Padini is a leading retail brand in Malaysia with a well-established reputation in a loyal customer base. Next, we go to Kamda Group Sdn Berhad. We can see Kamda strength has a diverse revenue model. Over the year, Kamda has ventured into various business outside the service sector. Kamda also have a success of new product mix, which is Kamda provide an product mix option for its customer. And next, wide geographic presence. Kamda has an extensive dealer network and associate network that not only help in delivering efficiency service, but also help in managing competitive challenge. And lastly, market leadership position. Kamda has a strong market leadership position in retail industry. Next, for the weakness in the SWOT analysis for both company, we start with Padini. We can see Padini is dependent on domestic market. Padini's primary market is Malaysia. Market is vulnerable to economic fluctuation and change in consumer spending pattern. For the weakness for Padini also, reliance on physical store. The company may face challenge in adapting to the growing trend of the online shopping. For the weakness in Kamda SWOT analysis, we can see Kamda has extra cost of building new supply chain. Kamda need to build a new robust supply chain network so they can compete with others. For the next weakness, Kamda have a niche market and many local monopolies. Companies such as Kamda fast disappearing, and customer network that Kamda has promoted is proving less and less effective. For the last one, high cost of replacing existing expert. For employees, there are few employees are responsible for Kamda knowledge base, so it's hard to find someone who has the knowledge. So Kamda can replace them in the present condition. Next, for the weakness in the SWOT analysis, for both company, we start with Padini. We can see Padini is dependent on domestic market. Padini's primary market is Malaysia. Market is vulnerable to economic fluctuation and change in consumer spending pattern. For the weakness for Padini also, reliance on physical store. The company may face challenge in adapting to the growing trend of the online shopping. For the weakness in Kamda SWOT analysis, we can see Kamda has extra cost of building new supply chain. Kamda need to build a new robust supply chain network so they can compete with others. For the next weakness, Kamda have a niche market and many local monopolies. Companies such as Kamda fast disappearing, and customer network that Kamda has promoted is proving less and less effective. For the last one, high cost of replacing existing expert. For employees, there are few employees are responsible for Kamda knowledge base, so it's hard to find someone who has the knowledge. So Kamda can replace them in the present condition. For the last SWOT analysis, we can see threat for both company, Padini and Kamda. For Padini, the threat is intense competition. Padini face strong competition from both local and international market that highly competitive. Next, economic uncertainty. Economic downturns or fluctuation can impact consumer spending and affect Padini profitability and sales, which can see from the previous year in when COVID-19 happened. And the last one, changing consumer preference. In the rapid change in fashion trends and consumer preference, require Padini to stay agile and responsive to evolving market demand. Next, we see to the threat for Kamda. We can see the distrust of institution are increasing, that can lead to less investment into emerging market. Next, competitive pressure. Kamda has a competitive pressure that Kamda cannot respond quickly to the needs of the niche market. Next, a saturation in urban market and stagnation in the rural market. One of the reason is that the adoption of product is low in rural market, and they cannot provide in the rural market vast of distance and lack of infrastructure. And the last one, commoditization, which is the biggest challenge for Kamda to increase commoditization of product in increased industry.
The conclusion of our report is about Padini Concept Store. Their strength, strong brand portfolio, vertical integration, wide retail network and market presence. About their weaknesses, vulnerability to economic swings due to reliance on domestic market, difficulties in adjusting to e-commerce and changing consumer taste. About their opportunities, international expansion, e-commerce development and product diversification. About Kamda Group Berhad, their strengths, diversified revenue model, success in new product mix, broad geographic presence and market leadership positions. About their weaknesses, need to develop new supply chain and logistic network, reliance on shrinking specialized markets and local monopolies. About their opportunities, technical advancements, larger client base in lower income sectors, local cooperation and potential for development in developing nations. Thank you.